Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to some Toronto Raptors news, Riker. This is probably our latest reaction to a Woj bomb, but I want to make sure that we could be on a pod together to react to our first big free agent signing. We've been dropping the solos, dropping the TikToks, dropping the shorts the past few days, just trying to get the content out while we've been on different schedules. But we signed our first new player, Riker, and it's Sam Dekker. And I'll break out the Woj bomb here. And this was a Woj bomb that made me mortally depressed the first time I saw it. I saw, oh, Woj, Raptors, new news. Who are we signing? Raptors sign guy from Europe, and then it's Sam Dekker. And I looked at it, and what are the two things that come to mind when you hear Sam Dekker?
Controversy and smashing a basketball in his face on a fast break.
So this is for people that aren't aware, he's a part of probably the most iconic meme of all time in basketball. I've seen this used just in all over the place, not just basketball spheres. I've seen it used in business presentations and just anything this meme pops up on. So that's the first thing that really comes into your mind when you see Sam Dekker. And the second is the controversies, if you want to dive into that. But thankfully, it's not as it seemed, as it was initially reported.
Well, we can keep it relatively non-political. It's basically somebody tweeted something about white
J.R.
person's cult. No. It started with there was like a tweet about white people, cultural appropriation. That's the proper word. And he said, "I'm proud to be white. You should be proud to be whatever you are. Like, I'm not ashamed that I'm a white person," which, touchy subject at the time, not going to say that's right or wrong. But then J.R. Smith comes on a podcast. He's like, there's only one dude I've ever hated in the NBA, and that's Sam Dekker. He's on some Trump stuff. And Sam Dekker's like, yo, chill. I don't even like Trump. And then his wife is like, I hate you, J.R. Smith. And then they got into it. Probably shouldn't laugh. It doesn't sound like the most serious issue, but certainly there's some controversy around it and BLM and all of that. Not trying to diminish any of that, but of all of the things that are bad, this seems like it's pretty low on the totem pole. So if this dude has any issues, I'm sure he'll just be kicked off the team. It's not like he's going to be this dude, right?
Because the Raptors are a pretty progressive organization. There was a bunch of progressive tweets prior and after that incident that were brought up with Sam Dekker. And he's gone at people in his Twitter section that he's not a Trumper or whatever. So it's just a weird vibe. But those are the first two things that come to mind when you see Sam Dekker, and you're just like, Messiah, why on earth are you signing this guy before Kem Birch, before this, before that? And we had to get all that out of the way, because once you dive more into Sam Dekker, he's kind of a player, Riker. He's 6'9". He came into the league. He has a storied sort of college career. He came in as a notable player, and then didn't really gain his footing, gaining traction in the NBA, but he came in as a guy that could finish around the rim, is polished, is not a horrible defender by any means. He's pretty long, he has an NBA body, but in modern NBA, you need to be a guy that can shoot. And he could shoot the middies kind of in his NBA days, but the three-point line, he couldn't step out, which is essential for an undersized big in today's NBA. But Ryker went to Europe, and he got MJ secret stuff. I'm pulling up his stats here. You can see him at the bottom of the screen. But he shot. He put up some solid numbers in Europe, as you'd expect from any NBA player. But the intriguing stat is in his second year with Turkey, 45% from the three-point line. For a 6'9" player that already had other NBA skills in his arsenal, in his bag, this is looking like he might be a really nice pickup for the Toronto Raptors.
And he shot the lights out. He shot the lights out there. What's pretty crazy though is he played in that season that he shot 45%. It was on 126 attempts in 28 games. In his entire NBA career, 200 games versus 28, he only shot 309 threes. So he shot half of those in a tenth of the games. So clearly there's something to be said for having a bigger role, being more confident. Now, he's obviously a Turkish league. I don't imagine it's up to the quality of the defense that the NBA would, but it is promising to have a guy that can come in and potentially shoot at a high clip, but he's not at the height of a Matt Thomas or Malachi Flynn. You know, he's actually reasonably sized, so he might not be a complete liability. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued, especially after losing DeAndre Bembry, Paul Watson, and Rodney Hood, who were all rotation players when they were healthy with the squad. So there's minutes to be had, and not a lot of free agents signed this offseason, so those minutes are going to have to be picked up elsewhere. Obviously, Scotty Barnes is going to get a chunk of those. You and I are high on David Johnson to potentially come in at the backup shooting guard. Delano Banton is a player that we think will be good in the long run, but
probably a G leaguer.
Yeah, probably a G leaguer to start off. But Sam Dekker, he's a player that I think if he can shoot the three, and maybe his NBA position is more of a small forward, power forward, I think him in Utah, right? Obviously, we have Chris Boucher is the main guy off the bench in the forward positions, but I think him and Utah are going to be really competing for those backup small forward minutes. And who are you more intrigued by, especially with Utah's development over the course of the summer, and we see it all come together in the Olympics right now? Who do you think has a better shot at getting more minutes as we open the season next year?
Utah. Mm-hmm. Top of the jersey sales. He's, a man of the fans and taller, 6'10", 6'11", and really flashed some promise on the defensive end. Wasn't always there, but at times...
The defense was always there. The offense came and went.
Maybe eyeball test. I thought the defense was sometimes there and sometimes not always there, but he showed that he had good positioning. He's got his handy up. He challenged some shots and a little bit more size, potentially a little bit.
Edwards dunk, Riker.
Yes.
I'm giving you, that was good defense. That was good defense. Right? I'm giving you the gold star on that one. It's a.
He got buried, and it took him like 10 games to come back. We never saw his face. I think he took a leave of absence. He was so embarrassed by that. But like you mentioned,
the dunk was bad, Riker. The dunk was bad. Nick Nurse, after he was coming into his own, getting benched, Nick Nurse benching him for 10 games after the dunk was even worse. That was more of an insult, more of a blemish on that. Nurse, you gotta let him come back and redeem himself. You can't just kick him out of the league. If we were tanking, he probably would have never played in the NBA again. Nurse, what are you doing, my guy?
His saving grace is people still hated Siakam more than him, so there was no fan pressure on him there, but definitely more promised by Utah. I think that he has some tremendous upside, and he's skillful too for his size, right? It wasn't always there, like you said, the offense, but he had a couple of moves at times where he would drive in. He had a floater, a Euro step. He could shoot the three. So I like Utah, but I don't mind if Sam Dekker comes in and he's competing for minutes. He's hitting some threes. I don't know where his defense is going to be at, but at least he has a bigger stature than most of our shooters traditionally do.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. So yeah, because the Matt Thomas, we've been burned on Americans that go over to Europe, come over and have their 3-point shooting hyped up to the max. Obviously, Matt Thomas, who was recently waived by the Utah Jazz. Maybe we could get him. They could get a Matt Thomas back on the squad, Riker. I don't know. He's promising his rookie season. The second year, Nick Nurse started off the year. Yeah, Matt Thomas is gonna try and earn himself some minutes, try and get an opportunity, and just really couldn't run with the defense. He was brutal. Offense, he couldn't hit a 3-8. What wasn't he shooting? 18% from the 3-point line. That was the time.
Yeah, the nail in the coffin was the 3-point shooting. Yeah. If you can't do 3 or D, if you're a nothing man, then you're going to get cut. Or traded for a second-round pick, more accurately. Yeah.
Man, should we change that to the Matt Thomas gold star award? Nah, he hasn't hurt people like Damari. We still got to figure out if that's making a return.
Because Damari was our starter, so it's just painful when your starter falls from grace so heavily. Matt Thomas was trying to earn minutes.
Yeah, that might be a deep cut for a lot of our new viewers, Riker. We've been rock with the Damari Carroll Gold Star Award for a long time.
We should shake it up. Man, there's probably casuals that don't even know who Damari Carroll is. He's not even in the league anymore, I don't think. He was on the Spurs 2 seasons ago. I don't know if he plays, so he might not even be a name that people know.
You know, our super chat symbol, that's gonna have to get a shake up, Riker. That's obviously Kyle Lowry with the Superman cape. We gotta, the tanking emojis. We have a lot of flux. The pylon, that's gonna get old fast. So if you got any segment ideas, guys, let us know in the comment section below. We're always trying to shake things up, get you guys the content that you guys like. But Ryker, Sam Dekker, do you have any wild predictions for him before we end off this podcast?
Will he fall into... Do you remember when we had Greg Monroe? I'm thinking of another big that we had, though. It wasn't Greg Monroe. He had anger issues, too. He had anger issues.
Oh, Hansbrough. Catch these hands, bro.
No, yeah, we had Tyler Hansbrough, too. No, this was... oh, man. He was promising. He was a center. He was legit. And then he...
David Anderson.
No.
Aaron Gray.
No. You're doing white dudes. He might
Sam
even have like
Dekker's a white dude, bro.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking about guys that came in and then they flopped. But it's not like Sam Dekker has any expectations, so it's not going to be a flop. It'll just be exactly what we expected if things don't pan out. So the wild prediction is that he's actually a bench player. He can actually find himself a role for one season. That's my wild prediction.
He strikes me as a Linus Kaleza. A guy that we're getting out of nowhere.
Hand down, man down.
Hand down, man down. Get back some Linus Kaleza highlights. I feel like he's going to come in and do some different things. I think he could be that sort of 7-foot shooting guard for the squad, even though he's only 6'9" and doesn't play shooting guard. I feel that.
Can we fish Jose Calderon and Barbosa out of retirement and bring them back to the Raptors?
Why on
Leandro
earth would
Barbosa?
we fish back Jose Calderon and Barbosa?
I don't know. You're bringing up Linus Kaleza. I'm thinking Sonny Weems. I'm going on a nostalgia trip here.
We need Sonny Weems back. I saw Leandro Barbosa practicing in the McGill Gymnasium last year, a couple years pre-pandemic. Whenever that was. That immediately a year and a half ago now. Yeah, we're it's crazy. That's a year and a half already.
The Brazilian Flash.
He was in there in the gym. I waved at him. I was like, Barbosa, I love you.
Who was he practicing for?
With Brazil, Team Brazil, when they were playing against Canada.
Oh,
I don't think he was on the team. He just came up to Canada, had to run a few practices.
Why not?
The two-hand shot. If you guys remember the cut-off Under Armour jerseys, we're getting a little throwback on this podcast here, Ryker.
He heard the stories about Montreal, so that you were there. That's why. Anyways, we're getting off the rails.
Anyways,
fun to go on tangents though.
You guys are the best for making this far. Check out the Instagram, the TikTok, all that cool stuff. And as we keep mentioning, we keep plugging, we're on the road to 20K subscribers. Lowry hasn't officially been traded to the Heat, so he could still drive us to 20K. Get us to 20K before he ends up parking in Miami. That's all I want to say. You guys have been great watching the vids, subscribing, but tell your friends. That's a little meme in that. I don't know. If everyone tells one friend, we could be at 40K subs, right?
No, we couldn't, because we're not at 20 yet. So
we're close. Exponential growth. The algorithm will help. All those fun things.
Getting one person to refer one person, that's not exponential. That's just linear.
But wait. What if that one other person refers another person?
No, that's still linear. It'd have to be one person refers two.
No.
And then
if the branching factor.
No, if one person refers one extra person, that's people, linear.
Then we get weird with it. Right?
If every one person refers two, that's exponential.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, We get the
no, that was not what you were saying.
This is I went to school.
Dude, the vaccine's kicking in too hard. Your math is going.
The vaccine is hitting me hard right now. We messed up the math to start last video. Now we're ending it off pretty tough here. But Ryker, do you have any last words to end this one off?
Give a pity subscribe for Ben's poor math when he's under the influence of a second vaccine dose. But shout out to Sam Dekker. He's coming, whether you like him or you hate him. We'll see how he plays out. It's a very interesting pickup, our only free agent signing. So
whether you like him or you're J.R. Smith, because we all know that J.R. Smith is watching this video.
All right, Ben. Cheers.